Here comes the latest news on 31st of May 2024, which is having huge economic relevance. That is RBI, the Reserve Bank of India, has made a movement of 100 tons of gold from UK. So gold has come from UK into India. So what does this mean? Does it mean that our economy is having strength, or does it signal some crisis? So was this gold that was held in UK actually the gold from India itself, or is it bought now from UK, or was it just got back from the bank in UK? For this, recollect the economic crisis that India faced in the year 1990-91. So what happened there? We were running low on foreign exchange reserves, very low. It was a few days time that these foreign exchange reserves would last. At the same time, there was a lot of debt that India had. For this, now there was something that Indian government had to do to survive. So in our households, in the household situations in Indian families, when there is some survival crisis, what is taken up is basically a decision to pledge your gold in the bank and against that get some loan, right? So what do? You go to the bank, you keep the gold as mortgage, and against that gold, you get some money for your survival. A similar strategy was used by the Indian government at that point of time, where we too had some gold reserves with RBI at that point of time, which were used up in the time period of crisis. What was done with that gold? Basically, in 1990, this gold was pledged. Pledge means basically just like you keep with a bank, girvi rakh diya. So basically, this gold was kept with the bank and they got the money against the gold. So what they got was basically what was got against this gold was basically United USDs. So we got dollars for this gold that was pledged. And since we were falling short of foreign currency, foreign exchange at that point of time, this was basically the step to ensure that we had sufficient dollars to survive in the next coming time periods. Now, within that same time frame of 1990-91 came liberalization. So that was the time period when we had PV Narasimha Rao as the prime minister, and he stepped up and said, okay, we are going to liberalize the economy. And Indian economy was opened up for globalization. So obviously what happened with globalization, a lot of foreign investment flowed into India at that point of time. When it is foreign investment flowing into India, automatically what happens? Your foreign exchange reserves go up. Because of this, most of the crisis situation that India was in, where we were falling short of foreign exchange, that was solved. And so India repaid most of its debt at that point. And when the debt was repaid, automatically when you repay the loan that you're taken from the bank, what happens? The bank gives back your gold, correct? So same thing happened. Gold pledged that was pledged earlier was freed up now. So basically there were different places that the Indian gold was kept as a pledge. But now it is actually not, it was not on pledge now because the foreign exchange reserves had come into India and we repaid the debt. So gold was free. But what happened to this gold that was now free but lying in the banks of other countries? This gold, not all the gold that was freed up was brought back into India. Gold in the UK was also kept in a bank, as you can say, a policy of the government not to get all the gold back into India. Let it be there. Just like sometimes we too do in our families. When we have a lot of gold, we keep some gold in lockers. We keep some gold with the relatives. So everybody, only one single person does not keep a hold on all the gold, right? So that's a decentralized way of keeping gold safe. Now you would say why that gold was not brought back earlier. The same reason I told you just now. One of the important reasons why it was not brought back was because of logistic reasons also. When there is such a movement, huge movement of gold, it becomes a security issue also, a logistical issue also. So the possibility is that it is a risky situation which could be avoided by keeping the gold there itself. And like we say, we keep in a locker, so there is no issue, right? Whenever we need, we can bring it back. Now, this is what we also call as a decentralized way. This could be called as a decentralized way of keeping the gold. So keep gold of India in different banks in a decentralized format. Tomorrow, let's say we need some money again. Then what we do? We don't bring it back. Then again, we give the gold back and then take the loan. Instead, we say, okay, we have some gold in this bank in this country. And against that, we take a loan. That could be a possibility. Now, why is the RBI bringing back this gold into India? Now, one main reason could be like, suppose, one main reason is basically due to the global unrest, geopolitical issues, so many wars going on all across different countries, and saving on the cost. Second reason they're saying is they want to save on the cost. Just like you have locker rent, similarly, these banks in other countries are asking for, obviously, every year they will be asking for some cost to maintain that gold. So to avoid that cost, to save on that cost, they said, okay, once and for all, bring it back into India. And also where there is global disruption and distress, it's not safe to keep our gold in somebody else's else's hand. So like suppose tomorrow you have a fight with your relatives, what will you do? You'll say, okay, jitna paisa tha, jitna gold tha, wapas de do, right? So my money, my gold, give it back to me. I will keep it safe, because tomorrow if I need it and you are in a fight, you will face issues. So you may not get the gold back. So that is one reason why the Indian government may have thought that, okay, or the RBI and that for that matter may have thought that, okay, get back the gold and keep it safely in our own country. Tomorrow, if we need, we should have it. Now, other reasons that we can cite from, or we can actually see why the gold may have been brought back, it may or may not be a possibility, but gold is generally required in the time of economic crisis. So tomorrow, if you need money, just like in households, as I told you, you pledge the gold and get the money, right? Same way, a country can benefit by keeping the gold in their own hands. It can sort out a lot of issues in terms of economic crisis that is ongoing. So today we find in India, there is a lot of inflation, there is a lot of issues connected with employment. It's like even if the economy seems to be growing, it's not growing in the proper direction, providing each and every household the required resources. So probability is that to have a control over this inflationary pressure, this economic crisis that is going on in our country, we find that we may have this gold resources being brought back into India. Obviously, it is hedge against inflation. You find gold rates are going up. So basically, if the gold rates are going up, and it could be a global benefit that we have hold the asset which is having a heavy price. So if the asset that is gold is having heavy price, against that we can also get some benefits when we pledge it, when we mortgage it, or when we have it also. Okay. Now tomorrow, if we want to settle the debts that the country is facing, by now you are aware that the country has a lot of loans and there is a fiscal deficit that is there in the economy. To repay part of the loans also, this gold could be used. So tomorrow, if the RBI decides that we want to clear up some part of our debt, then they may use this gold for clearing the loans that India has. Some countries do not accept rupees. So what will happen if we give them the dollars? Then there will be a problem, because if we give the dollars, then again we fall short of the foreign exchange. And when we fall short of the foreign exchange, the rupee may again depreciate, which again gives a bad signal, right? So to avoid that, indirectly, what we are doing, we are repaying the loan, but we are not giving them the dollars. What we are giving them, we are going to give the gold to them. This is one way of repayment of the loan, directly by giving loan to the country which is not accepting rupees, and when we don't want to give the dollars. Overall, when there is a financial turmoil, where there's an economic crisis going on in a country, this gold can prove to be a boon for the economy when this is in the hands of the RBI. Now, other reasons which we could say, a little bit optimistic reasons, we say that, okay, for market sentiment, so people feel that, okay, our gold is back in our own country, and so we feel good about it. Like if we have all the gold of our own back in our own hands, we feel safe and nice, right? Secure. So same way, that could be one of the reasons, a sentimental reason, which is very, very vague. And I don't think that could be one of the possibilities right now. And another possibility, if we take it on a positive note, it could be that there is a strengthening of the rupee. That means if this gold can be used to curb inflation, do something better off in terms of the economy, then you may have the rupee strengthened against the dollar. Look at the current situation, you'll find that on this map, you'll see those areas where war is going on, right? So those countries where there are major wars, there are wars which are going on, there is minor conflicts that are ongoing constantly, and then you have skirmishes and clashes which are going on. So there is different varieties of situations that is created currently in the world, where there is disruption everywhere we see. So looking at this current situation, think of what could be the reason of bringing this gold back into our country. Could be reasons that the RBI knows that there is an upcoming economic crisis, or they want to repay the debt, or they want to curb inflation, or there could be a number of reasons why this gold is brought into India back. So sentimentally, it's a very good sign that, okay, in 91, we had pledged the gold outside, and it was lying outside our country, and it is being brought into India. It's a positive thing. But economy wise, is there a sign to worry? That remains a question.